Tottenham Hotspurs are in the mud. Conte is crumbling. And along come Nottingham Forest. Welcome to your match preview for the Spuds, the Scum versus Nottingham Forest. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Whatever time of day you're watching this, hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to your match preview for Spurs versus Forest. This is brother versus brother take 3 of the season. It is one apiece. They beat us in the league. We spanked them in the cup, and we're going to spank them again tomorrow because Forest are going to do a Forest and Spurs are going to do a Spurs. And that equation, if you're following the maths, should result in a Forest win, he says. It needs to, man. It needs to, because there's so much riding on this. Personally, for me, I've got to be able to slap that idiot across the face. And I'll be having dinner with him straight after the match. One of us is going to be pissed. One of us is going to be happy. Let me know in the comments down below which way you think it's going to be. Coming up in today's video, we're going to go through the predicted team lineups, how Forest can win this match, and we'll talk about Spurs being in the mud as they exit the Champions League. Before we do, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new to Forest Fan TV. And before we get into it, don't forget there's only, 7 days left. So plenty of time still for you to get your tickets. The live draw will be done 7:30 on Friday. Not tomorrow, as in next Friday. Go get your signed shirt for this season's home kit for Nottingham Forest. Let me show you quickly how you can do that. How would you like to win this season's Nottingham Forest home shirt, signed by the likes of Cooper, Jono, Yatesy, Hendo, just to name but a few? We've teamed up with our friends at footballprizes.co.uk, where you can win this. Tickets only cost £3.95. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. Go down and answer this simple question. I'll give you a clue. The answer's Cooper. Select the amount of tickets you would like. Register yourself onto the site and then check out your order. There's only 125 tickets up for sale, so get in now before they sell out. The winner will be drawn live on Facebook. Once you've won the prize, send me in your picture so I can see you with the beautiful Garibaldi Reds. Remember, you need to be in the UK or the Republic of Ireland to enter, and you can buy as many tickets as you want, but it's limited to 125 tickets, and they're going quick. All right, guys, let's get into this preview. Oh, I'm so nervous. The thing is, let me just cast your mind back a couple of weeks now. For the last few weeks, taking out Man City, Forest have been playing crap teams that they should be beating on paper, because morale on those teams is so low and so bad that it's just begging for a spanking from Forest. We had West Ham when we went away to their crappy stadium, that Rent-A-Cop stadium in London, and we got a tonking there 4-0. And then we took on Everton in the fortress that is the City ground, and we started like absolute pillars, man, just standing there, giving them a penalty, and it ended up 2 apiece. Had we won both those matches, right now the cigar would be lit right here on this video, would be relaxing, and safety is a done deal, because we would have pulled an 8-point gap over West Ham, and we would have pulled another 7-point gap. You add those together, would be about 11 points clear of those scummy teams. But now roll in Spurs. Spurs are so badly in the mud. They have this bellend here who doesn't give a crap about them. It's clear to see. And he is begging to be sacked. He is literally wanting to be sacked. He's gone in the summer, but if he goes now, he gets the extra payout. And that's why he's so eager to go. And we have to push him over the line. Look, I know there's big issues with our away form. Huge issues. In fact, we're bottom of the league on away form stats. But this is Spurs, man. And Spurs could do a Spurs, and Forest would do a Forest. Because what do I mean by that? Spurs are Spurs, and they'll always blow up in the second half of the season. It's tradition for them. I take the piss out of my brother every single season about it. And after yesterday, it has been confirmed. Box ticked. No more silverware for Spurs for yet another year. And when I say Forest doing a Forest, what do I mean by that? In those crunch games, man, in those games where you think if Forest do this, X, Y, and Z will happen, it always seems to go against us historically. I can bring you so many matches, so many permutations where things could have been different for Forest. But Forest then losing those matches and then going and winning where they shouldn't be winning, because everyone has Spurs as favourites for this one, is the most Foresty thing that could happen, in my opinion. Do you guys agree or not? Or am I letting personal matters take over for me? Let me know down below. All right, let's jump in and have a look at the predicted teams and what I think Cooper and Conte, I could call him something else, will go for. All right, guys, so let's run through this and let's start with the Forest team. And this is the team that I think may be picked. I'm not fully convinced, but this is the team that makes sense to me. There's a few things we need to cover off. Spurs are most likely going to play in a 3-4-3 formation, which basically can be a 5-2-3 formation as well. It's just that annoying one. I mean, we saw it at the start of the season. We hated it, but that's Spurs' default. So Forest have to go with bodies in midfield. That is key number one. And I think we need to put legs around Shelvey. I say drop Freuler, man. I don't see it happening, but I say drop Freuler. Let Shelvey take that quarterback position and put legs around him. Put Danilo and Yates. Now, Yates may not be fully fit for this. If he's not, I'd go with Mangala and Danilo. Have those legs around Shelvey that will do the off-the-ball work, that will do the leg work, that will go box to box and really kind of create those opportunities and, you know, be those donkeys, those workhorses, you know, that we really do need in an away match like this. That's what you have to do. He can't go for a two-man midfield, because if he does, we won't be able to swamp them. Spurs usually play with, we'll get onto their team, but Skip and Højbjerg at the moment in the middle. So if you get that extra body in, you're going to suffocate them. Now, Worrell, for me, has to be dropped. The minute Niakate is fully fit, like I was going to put Niakate into this team, but I don't want to jinx it. I'm hoping that there's a surprise and Niakate is ready to come back. But at the moment, like Worrell is atrocious away from home and, you know, positionally better at home, but with mistakes as well. And he needs to be dropped. End of. I don't know. If you want to debate it, let me know in the comments down below. I don't see how it works. Yes, we have no one at the moment, hence why he's on the team sheet. But that, for me, is probably what we'll go with the back five. Up front, Wood has to be dropped. He has to. He's suffocating MG Dub and it's causing too many issues. Ever since Wood has come into the team, we've been playing even more negative football, if that was physically possible, than we were playing before. And we need to release the Brazilians. I've put all 4 Brazilians in here as protest. I want to see Scarpa, Danilo, Felipe, and Lodi. I want to see that left side locked out with full Samba mode on, man. Full Samba mode. That's what we need down that left-hand side. It looks so good on paper. It really does. Go to the false 9. I hate a false 9, but I will take a false 9 over Wood every day of the damn week. Because he is, and I've shown it statistically how it's scuppering MG Dub, how he's sticking too tight to him, how MG Dub hasn't got runners around him. He's forced to only go to Jono as the option. So for me, this has to be the way we play against Spurs. And the most important 2 players, well, we'll come on to strategy in a bit, but it's going to be Lodi and Aurier, and I'll explain why in a minute. But this is the team I think we should go with. Owoni's still not going to be ready. Niakate may be named on the bench. But outside of that, the real doubts for me here, probably Yates. I don't know if the medical team will clear him to start, but he is close. If he does start, he's probably going to need to come off in the 60th minute. But I don't think that's a big deal if we went for this midfield 3 in terms of you could bring on Mangala for him in the second half, something like that. You know, or if we were winning, or should I say when we are winning, in the last 10 minutes, I'd bring Cole back on just to shore it up and, you know, let him do his usual fouling in there and just kill the game off. That, for me, should be the strategy. But let's talk about the Spurs team. Okay, so with the Spurs team, I think there's going to be some changes. Everything changes but you. I think we're going to see Son dropped. He has been synonymous, as my boy Expressions would say. He has been atrocious. And I think Dan Juma is probably finally going to be forced into a start, as an under pressure Conte will have to make some changes. Now, the other thing he could do is change to a 4-back, which the Spurs fans are crying out for. I really hope they've been enjoying this 5-back. I feel, though, his security blanket is still this 3-4-3 formation, whatever you want to call it, 3-2-3, 5-2-3, whatever it is. God, I hate that formation. Brings back early season memories for me for Forest. But anyway, I think that's going to be a change there. Now, I don't think Sanchez is going to start, but I don't really know who else they could bring in. Potentially Longley, something like that. So I do think we'll still see this back 5 from Spurs, but I think Son will be dropped for Dan Juma, because there's a massive outcry from the Spurs fan to get Dan Juma on to free him. He's taken Jed Spencer's locker, apparently, and he's having all kinds of issues. In the middle, it's going to be Højbjerg and Skip, because Bentancur is still out injured. But this is the team that can be really got out, because they've got issues with left back. Now, potentially Perisic, should I say, has been playing at left back, but he's been crap. He's too old. He can't get up and down. And it's been scuppering Son as well. So potentially what they've been doing is putting Emerson Royale at left back. He can barely play at right back. He's so bad. And they're going to bring Porridge back on at their new signing from the January window onto right back, this so-called greatest right winger in world football right now. Not right winger, sorry, right wing back. But anyway, that's going to be the Spurs team. Now, as you can see, this is why I mentioned if they go with this formation, we have to play with 3 in the middle to outdo them on numbers. When we played them at the City Ground, we were also playing a 3-back. And we dominated that midfield with Mangala and O'Brien. We actually dominated the match because Spurs are so negative, man. They're so negative in their style of play. Now, at their stadium, I would expect, unfortunately, us to go even more negative than their negative, and 2 negatives make 2 negatives. It's going to be a dull match. Whichever way you look at this could be one of the most boring matches you will ever watch in history. Spurs are one of the most boring teams to watch. I can't remember a game I've watched of them in the last 7 years, and I've had to watch a lot. I've even seen the North London derby live in person at Wembley, where they beat Arsenal 1-0, and I fell asleep. It was that boring. But Spurs are boring, and Forest are playing negative football. This is the battle of Fossil Football FC versus Negative Football FC. And the winner has to be Negative Football FC, hopefully. So, where's the keys to this? The key to it is pinning back those 2 wing backs. If we can get Lodi and Aurier to push up that pitch and pin back Royale and Porridge, then Forest can hold Spurs back into a 5 rather than allowing the 2 wing backs to come in and create a 4 across the middle. And then if that happens, that would outnumber them in their favour, that they'd have 4 on our 3. That's why Aurier and Lodi are going to be huge in this game, and they have to be unleashed. Cooper has to allow them the freedom to get up that pitch. And then what you will see, hopefully, is the likes of Shelby coming in to cover Aurier. Danilo going to the left-hand side to cover Lodi. Things like that. A bit of fluidity in the play. And then if we are playing with that false 9, you could see the pace of Jono, of MG Dub, of Scarpini. Now, I'm not saying Scarpa's fast, but he can interlace that play as well. Potentially, instead of Scarpa, you could even play Dennis in this one. Let him run riot, let him go, lose the ball, whatever, but at least he's going to push it forward. And what that will do is pin Porridge back at Spurs' right back position. That's where the key in this game is, and that's how we can win this. Spurs is so toxic right now. It's not going to take much. We should have done it against West Ham. We should have done it against Everton, and we have to do it against Spurs. We have to come out of the blocks quick, pin them back, turn that crowd, that plastic Spurs crowd. I've been to that stadium, man. It is a library. We have to turn it into a toxic atmosphere. We didn't do that at West Ham, and we allowed Everton to get on top of us in the home game recently. That's the key to this game. That's how we win it. Pin those wing backs back, force the overload into the middle, and then let Jono do his Jono thing and bag himself a hat trick. As I mentioned at the start of the video, Conte wants to be sacked. He wants that payout. He is checked out of Tottenham. And the worst thing we could do would be to go there and play the way we've played away from home. This has to be different. Steve Cooper said it in an interview the other day. You know, he said, I got to go and address this bloody away form, I think were his exact words. So address it. Address it by making those changes. Drop Wood. If Niakate is fit, bring him in and get the Brazilians on the damn pitch so we have some creativity, man. We have to change. The definition of madness is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. The West Ham team and the team that we fielded out against Everton was identical. The only change was Aurier came back in for Nico Williams. There's the definition of madness for you. What were we expecting to see different just because we were at the City Ground? It was a default win. Doesn't work like that. So these changes have to be made. And as much as I hate the false nine, it has to be the way forward. And we've got to get at them. We've got to show them a set of kahunas and that we are better than them. A lot of you are going to say this is different to West Ham. This is different to Everton. Spurs are fourth in the league. It's a false position, man. They play absolute crap football and they fluked their way. And most Spurs fans would agree with me on that. They don't know how they're in fourth. They've lost 9 games this season already. They lost to us in the cup when they fielded a strong team. This has to be that Forest doing a Forest moment. It really does. It really does. And I've got a feeling on it. Yes, I'm blinded because my brother's an idiot and supports Spurs. Yes, it means the world to me if we were to beat Spurs in the Premier League. But as a kid, remembering the Premier League, we used to always beat Spurs. Those thunderbolts by Ian Wone, those free kicks, that penalty shootout in the FA Cup, all those great memories, all those bad memories for my brother. I want another one created for him. I want to sit across that dinner table at my dad's party and laugh in his goddamn face. That's what I want to happen. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Guys, I'm predicting the win for Forest on this one. I'm going to go ballsy. I'm going to go 2-0. But if it's not 2-0, this is going to be Dinosaur FC versus Negative FC, and it's going to end up 0-0. I do not see a scenario where Spurs can tonk us on this. The only way that happens is if we do a classic Tesco FC and they score a goal and we go bog off on them. But that's my prediction. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Guys, don't forget to go grab your tickets. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got some live shows for you tomorrow as well. Plenty more coming up on the channel. We're approaching 10K very, very rapidly. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to Forest Fan TV. Of course, we'll have the watch along for you on Saturday. It's gonna be ugly and feisty. But more importantly, we got the Predictor League tomorrow, where Twist of Fate will have to answer for his sins as we drink some 7-Up. And me and my brother will no doubt be going at it over this match on Saturday. We'll see you then. Come on, you Reds.